Okay, before we look at the team that Tuchel is playing, I understand what he's doing. He didn't bring Cole Palmer. He didn't bring Foden. To me, that is sheer madness. His thing is they're saying that you don't have individual players. The best team possible doesn't mean that it has the best individual players. But in a World Cup in which you're going to have people from Portugal like Vitinha, who I thought was from France, okay, where you have Desiree Doué, where you have Mbappe, where you have Dembele, where you have Yamal, when you have Olmo, where you have all these fantastic players, where you have guys that are superstars. You can't just have a team in which you have a tactical setup which works for you and you think you're going to win a World Cup. Let's talk about Saka. Saka is a good winger, but on an international level, Saka is not considered to be anybody special. He plays well within Arsenal. You have Saka on your right wing. Then on the left, they have Rashford. Rashford, who even Man U said, get out of here, man. We don't need your dumb ass, right? Rashford, he says he wants Rashford on his team because he wants Rashford and Saka to create space. Number one, yeah, Rashford is fast, so he's going to create space. Saka isn't fast. Saka is actually the opposite. He's a tactical player who comes and drifts and can score centrally and everything else. Doesn't make sense. Who's going to be their midfielder?
Morgan Rogers.
Rogers, okay, you have Rogers, and of course Bellingham. I don't even know. I would rather start Rogers, Bellingham as an attacking midfielder, but they don't have a real number 10 because to me, Rogers and Bellingham are more box-to-box players. They don't have any creative players. So that just brings my question. How do you go to the World Cup without Foden? And then this is an even bigger sin. Not bringing this guy, not bringing Palmer. That's the unforgivable sin. Is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Cole Palmer, who, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he hasn't reached his potential yet. If Cole Palmer plays seriously, he was going to be one of the top 2 or 3 number 10s in the world. And you don't bring him. When you don't have Cole Palmer on your team and you're using Bellingham and Rogers, those guys can't break down low blocks. Cole Palmer is that special type of player that can break low blocks. Even Eze can't compare himself to Cole Palmer. Eze is on the team. Tuchel brought a bunch of small boys, Kobe Mino. I'm not saying that he shouldn't bring those guys, but you have to find space for Foden and you have to find space for Palmer. The setup that he wants to use is counter press, and then he wants to have a box midfield, bring the defenders high so they create a box so it's very difficult to penetrate. Let me tell you something. When Griezmann and Schumann box or no box, we're going to blow these motherfuckers out of the water. That strategy is not going to work. To win in the World Cup, you have to have people who can score. It was a high-scoring game. I think it was 4-3, then they went to penalties. So my point being is if he's trying to play like Cup, where you keep score low. It's not going to be score low. You think Dembele won't break that box? You think Dembele won't break England's midfield?
For sure.
You think he won't? And then you'll have nobody to score. And then you're going to sacrifice Kane, who's the number 9 in the world. And you're going to sacrifice Kane to drop into the midfield and to do dirty work because you don't have any scorer.
Yeah.
Who has speed and Saka, that they're going to create space for people to score. Who's going to be their finisher? They don't have one person on that team who's a finisher or who's a creative player. So to me, Tuchel is trying to get too fancy. He's trying to make a system which is more important than the individuals. But this is the World Cup. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
You're absolutely right. I mean, that he didn't take Cole Palmer and Phil Foden, it beggars belief. Because, I mean, if you're playing you mentioned the right scenario, you're playing against a low block, which is going to happen against a lot of their opponents. Where is the creativity to open up in tight spaces? That's where you need the likes of Foden and Cole Palmer. I mean, if you're using just Rashford is a Manchester United reject. And the only reason Barcelona took him was because they felt he was a cover for Rafinha, not a replacement for Rafinha. He was supposed to be on the bench whenever Rafinha was injured. I mean, how do you take that kind of guy to the World Cup when you have the likes of Cole Palmer and even Phil Foden? And then you look at Saka. Saka will give you a lot of dribbling, but he doesn't usually drift to the middle. And then you're using Morgan Rogers, who just had one standout season with Aston Villa as the number 10 for England. I mean, you look at the other teams and they have marquee names. Have X factors all around. If you're playing a very tight game and you look at your bench, and you want to bring on someone that has a sprinkling of stardust, who do you look to? I mean, it beggars belief. I don't know why he took that decision.
No, let's look at the forward, Harry Kane. Okay, let's keep it real on Fabi. Saka is what you call a specialist with Arsenal, but he's not one of the top wingers in the world. Saka, Rashford, Gordon. Come on, Madueke. Come on. Madueke. No, I mean, he's a good player, but guy is nothing special in the English league. And let me talk about Madueke and Rashford. Tuchel says he wants a team that's not rigid, but he wants a team that's systematically strong. Neither of those guys plays defense or tracks back or presses. Saka, talking about Madueke and Rashford, they don't press. Those guys are defensive liabilities. What do you think? What's his name? Saeed, can't drink beer at 8 in the morning, man. Saeed, what do you think? Saeed, what do you?
So, yeah. So I think my
we don't have Saeed.
Ali Watkins. Also, Ali Watkins.
No.
That's just a waste of space. Ali Watkins, you're not going to play. Put Cole Palmer there.
Yeah, exactly.
We can hear you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, all right. Then. So I want to believe that, okay, I want to cut in some slack. That is Thomas Tuchel, that him not bringing Cole Palmer, okay, probably because he's not having a great season this year or this season. Okay, what about Foden? I think they needed Foden in that team, because apart from Eberechi Eze that he brought now, anything can happen. And Eberechi Eze is really, really not that creative. But I think when you're talking about a goal-getter midfielder, I still prefer a Phil Foden than Eberechi Eze, on my own opinion. So I'm looking at it now. So probably he will definitely want to start Eze or something, because Eze is the most creative player I'm seeing in this order midfield. They have Elliot Anderson, Jude Bellingham, Eberechi Eze, Jordan Henderson, Kobe Mainoo, Declan Rice, Morgan Rogers. So definitely, probably, in short, Eze is the only creative player there. So talking about the striker, of course, they have Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford and Toney Madueke. Instead of bringing Toney Madueke, why can't they just put in Phil Foden instead?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Phil Foden can play 3 positions. He can play attacking midfielder. He can play box to box, and he can play on the wing. He's much more flexible. Also, and they bring in Ivan Toney. No.
Ivan Toney. Yeah, you can imagine someone playing in Saudi Arabia, for goodness sake. So I don't know what this guy. As in, I'm really, really not impressed in this.
He's the agent for these players secretly or something. Don't know.
They're silly.
Yeah, maybe they lobbied him that much also.
I know Ivan Toney was good, but he hasn't played in Europe for 2 years now.
Yeah.
No. And they're even saying that Bellingham won't start. You need to start Bellingham. You're supposed to have Bellingham they're supposed to have Bellingham as a number 8 and then have Palmer as a number 10. This is crazy, man.
So for me, I think Declan Rice have to start in that midfield definitely, and Jude Bellingham probably Eberechi Eze. So every other Rogers probably the third game, probably if they have qualified on or something. But this team is not really it for me though.
There's nothing scary. There's nothing scary about it.
Yeah, there's nothing scary. Apart from Harry Kane, nothing scary.
Probably last week I was thinking, okay, maybe England can make it to semifinals, that England is dangerous. But this is a step down from England. They don't stand a chance of winning this World Cup at all.
They'll be fortunate to make it to the quarters. They'll be fortunate
they can't do this.
Quarters.
What are your thoughts, Tagoti? Yeah.
No, absolutely. For them to leave Cole Palmer and Phil Foden, was a backward step, because you look at all the teams that really won the World Cup. They had that number 10, the creative player. Like you see, Italy back in the days, they had Roberto Baggio. Brazil, they had Ronaldinho. France, they had Zidane. Spain, they had Iniesta. You need that kind of player, and England has been struggling to have that player. For now, they do have him, Cole Palmer. They do have Foden that can break up the line and play in that number 10 and make other players play. So with this squad that they're playing with, they're relying on pace, on Like it seems like they want to play on transition and use the speed of Rashford and.
They play like Bafana now. Like Bafana.
Yeah, now they want.
Like Lampasta. Harry Kane is Lampasta. I'm not going to score goal again. I'm going to drop it to the midfield. They play like Bafana. I'm serious. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. You look at them. I don't see them going anywhere. I see them even struggling against Panama. When they play Panama, they'll be the serious problem because they don't have a creative player.
They'll beat them 1-0.
Honestly, they'll win by 1-0. Ghana will also give them problem, even though they might win, but they'll struggle. Croatia, I don't see them beating Croatia convincingly. No. I see Croatia giving them lots of problems.
Yeah. Okay, so I follow me. Who's our tactical master? Give us. I want to get like what's his name? Like Saeed. I want to cut slack for Tuchel. So give us what his tactical vision is. Why he's not bringing in superstar players, or why he's not bringing in creative players, because he wants tactical discipline. What is the style of play? I know a little bit of it. He wants to do counterattack. He wants to create a box in the midfield, sort of like what Senegal does, where you just have, even if you have possession, you don't have good possession. But to me, I think he's going to be prone to the counterattack. Go ahead. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah, what I think he wants to do is someone that likes to press and counter press. So he wants players that can press from the front. But my question is, if you're playing against a team, like you rightly mentioned, with a very low block, where are you going to press? You need to open spaces. You need players who are good in tight positions. And you have taken out two of your most gifted young stars who can open up spaces in tight positions. I mean, Cole Palmer can do that, and Phil Foden, and anywhere around the 18-yard box, they can shoot very well. So even if you're not going to start them, at least you take them along. So, and then if you look at the midfield looks very defensive for me. There is not apart from Declan Rice, who is a box-to-box, who's going to be pinging the ball from long distance to find the wingers. And then you look at the defense. This looks like, you're right. I mean, it's not a stretch. You're calling them Bafana. It looks like a team that wants to play on the counter-attack. And at this level,
is he a disciple of Mourinho? Is he a disciple of Mourinho? Because I think that's what he's trying to do, like how Tottenham used to play.
You can't win World Cups like that. You need creativity. You need players who can take people on. You need someone who can woo the crowd. And then there's this fear factor. If, for instance, Spain is playing against England, when you see the likes of Jamal, Pedri, it should strike fear in your minds. If you're playing against England, Nico Williams, if you're playing against England, who strikes fear in your mind? If you find, apart from Harry Kane is the only X factor they have there. No one else there strikes fear in your mind.
And here's the thing, they're going to make Harry Kane have to do too much work.
Exactly. He's going to be dropping back. He's going to be starved of possession and passes, and he's going to have to work very hard to get anything.
I feel sorry for Harry Kane, man.
Exactly. The only fear factor they have in that team, like I said earlier too, as Mr. Afolabi said, is just the Harry Kane. And if Harry Kane doesn't have that kind of balls he's getting from Olise and Gnabry and Musiala, he's not going to score goals. So, like you said, he's just going to have to engage in more work, probably coming back to the midfield, and him coming back to the midfield. He's not going to score.
And you know what's sad? Harry Kane is actually their best creative midfielder on that team. I'm being funny. Harry Kane is a better passer.
In fact, I've watched several England games that he's the one creating for wingers or some other midfielder to score goals.
He can pass. Very accurate passing. Yeah,
he has that.
All right, so last thoughts, Sigodi, then we'll go around the block. Sigodi, then Saeed, then we'll get out of here. What are your thoughts, Sigodi?
No, absolutely. You can't be having players like Declan Rice who can't even make a forward pass. Like in the last Euros, they were complaining, most English fans were complaining that Declan Rice was bought for 100,000. The guy who can't even make a forward pass. He's always passing backwards. He can't break the lines. I mean, who are you going to use in the midfield to get those passes, those penetrating passes against a low block teams? They don't have that kind of person. No, he's not that type of player. So England will always start.
And the problem with the English team is that they can't keep the ball well. Of all the top teams in Europe, English team, they don't know how to keep the ball. As in possession, they're not very good at keeping possession.
No. They're gonna, especially when they play teams like Portugal. Can you imagine that they can't? Portugal is gonna do better in this World Cup than England for far. England was struck. Is England's? I don't know about Germany. That's the only team that they can maybe play halfway deep.
Portugal has a midfield of Vitinha, João Neves, and Bruno Fernandes.
No, it's finished. It's finished, man. It's finished. All right, last start.
Vitinha.
Yes.
Last start. Yeah.
Yeah. So England, I with this team that they just released, I don't see them winning. I'm so sure they might even struggle to get to the quarterfinal because. No creative midfield. Probably everybody now knows the kind of play that they normally play from the defense, throw the ball up to the wing. Even Rashford is markable. Saka, we all know Saka likes to play with midfielders. So you give Saka, if you want to play counter attack, I don't think Saka is your go-to winger. So who else again there? Anthony Gordon. That one is off and on. Oh my God.
I feel like, who's this? You guys don't know what you're talking about. I lived in England. I know Saka's grandmother. Saka is a brilliant player. Kule, wait. Sorry, Kule, you're still sorry, Kule. England can't win this time. Let me stop. All right, no, but seriously, can you imagine? You have Rashford. You have a player who doesn't know how to shoot the ball or pass. He can stretch defenses, but nobody will take advantage of him stretching defenses because of his speed. No, last starts at Falabi.
Yeah, so I don't see where. I know they'll get out of the group stages for sure, but their ceiling is the quarterfinals. I don't see them getting past the quarterfinals with this team, unless maybe before the deadline, it has a change of mind and brings in one of either Cole Palmer. At least Cole Palmer should have made the cut. That's why I have a.
And we've seen this before, like the year that France made it to the finals and Zidane got kicked out. That year, Zidane came out of retirement. He wasn't fit. Look at the way he played in the World Cup. The point I'm making is guys like Palmer and Zidane and Co. Even if they're 100%, they always play well in World Cup. Look at Roger Millet. He was old man. Look how he played in the World Cup. So my point being is that this is the World Cup. Even Messi was beyond his prime in the last World Cup, and he's still shown. So my thing is you have to bring at least one player who has the. Cole Palmer is the most skilled and the most creative English player. This is someone who Man City is regretting shifting. So, and they're not bringing Foden also. So I think Tuchel, I understand what he's trying to do, but I think he got the plot wrong. Okay, take us out of Falabi.
In another brilliant football show, we have been discussing Thomas Tuchel and his Tuchel tactics. And from Mustafa, Saeed, and Segodi, we'll be back again with another of our build-up to the World Cup series. Bye for now.
What time is the match tomorrow? The Arsenal? Yeah.
5 o'clock here.
I think it's 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, so
it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I have to go on the bus, but maybe after the game, 7 o'clock we'll do a show if I can do the show. Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right. Okay.